Oh, this terrain is unmistakably central Burma. It brings back many memories. Now, Battle of the Min Hla Fort, 1885, Third Burmese War. Britain versus Mandalay. The Burmese kingdom based on the city of Mandalay is now at war with Britain. Frankly, their only real hope is that the British keel over and die of an epidemic. That didn't happen, and we must take our hat off to the defiance of these brave men. I really don't think there were 25,000 troops under British command coming up that river at them, but here comes their enormous flotilla. Burmese commander has a personal parasol bearer. I like that, that's good. These ships are a bit black for my liking. I like them white when they're British in the 1880s. Yeah, like that one. How did they manage to look black at a distance? And although not hinted at in this movie, the Burmese had river steamers themselves, including this one. This is exactly the point in history where the British went over to Khaki. This is good. But I don't like this guy. Somehow I just don't. I just don't see midget-looking guys in the extensive photographic record, that's all. I also don't like the 3-story tall river steamers. They are a huge target. The British had a lot of experience with this, as you see here in the Sudan. Notice what an easy target even that is. Airline pilots, you're kidding me. Airline pilots. Might as well have some heavy reinforcements, gentlemen, like this. There's a world airline strike on. This rickety platform looks horrible, but they did do that. And this movie does deliver spectacle. And that spectacle does make me more forgiving of these oversized paddle wheelers, because fancy even putting this together at all. I don't like the Burmese troops though. They did wear uniforms, but these are dressed from the 16th century, like the men you see here. In the 1880s, that headgear is still justifiable, but apart from a nappy from the waist down, all they should have is tats. And the same ugly green ink that bogans wear today as tattoos. So, what did Burmese soldiers really wear at this date? Let's go with European eyewitnesses. Cast-off uniforms bought on the second-hand market from the British Madras Light Infantry units. They looked like a child's naive doodle of British soldiers of the recent Zulu War, in fact. But the European witnesses who saw them had nothing but contempt for their overall appearance. You might even get a spectacle like this one. What Victorian gentleman could take at all seriously the spectacle of troops wearing loincloth, helmet, and tattoos? So many of them differed from this photo only in having a helmet. And if they did wear the uniform, they'd be barefoot usually, and a cheroot cigar hanging out of their face. Why are there none of these in the movie? They were a ubiquitous presence. I fell totally in love with these in my trips to Burma. Their mysterious contents of crushed coconut flour and several other strange things are unforgettable. It must have been a rare mouth that didn't house one at any moment, and in this contemporary sketch notice the artillery, even the artillery, are smoking them all the time, with serene disregard for the risk of setting off a terrible explosion. With slovenly habits, constant smoking of cheroots, and quite modern rifles going to waste. And the battle is joined in what a British reporter called closer to a street brawl than a war. Call me old-fashioned, but I don't reckon the security guards should stand in front of the camera while you're making a historical movie. Take note of the hilariously shallow ramming of a gun barrel this guy does. It's normal in this movie. I'll show you later in loving close-up. Come on man, that gun should recoil. Please take particular note of the inspired performance by this gentleman here, and this one too. And yes, you may have it again. Maybe I shouldn't get too smart-assed about these gentlemen here dancing the hokey pokey, but then Burmese drill was described by a European witness in a way that sounds disturbingly like the hokey pokey. They were basically doing calisthenics while holding a rifle in two hands. For all the battlefield application that shit has. Something else I will speak well of is the ridiculously small horses. That's how the Burmese army of this time was. And here's that hilariously shallow ramming I promised to come back to. Honestly, look, he couldn't... Oh, it must go in 2 or 3 inches at the most. For anyone who doesn't know, you're supposed to shove it in all the way. I have seen Christmas bonbons that went off more spectacularly than that. I confess that tree breaking under machine gun fire was a guilty pleasure. That was quite effective. But the British war machine really has got a hard-on for that hut, that thatched hut. They keep hitting it because it's got the pyrotechnics concealed in it. That cannon's wheels are lamentable. And I'll speak well of this. They really did have perilous-looking things like that as part of their defensive military culture. Terrible marksmanship, couldn't give a fuck marksmanship, very Burmese in this period. And thank you for giving the British a Gatling gun. This is good. Well done. As the British used to say, whatever happens, we have got the Maxim gun and they have not. I like the scenes of devastation inside the Burmese defensive earthworks. It's just like the photographic record shows. This is the Min Hla Fort in real life, just after its capture by the British. I also like that we don't have that old cop-out of spears versus rifles, where Europeans have the rifles and the colonial opponents all over the world just have spears and swords. Yeah, generally Britain, France, Holland, whoever was up against guns when they conquered the world during the great age of colonialism. Man, what a shitty death scene. What part of the body did that man get hit in? Really? Just what? The British begin their landing, correctly shown as being out of the range of Burmese shooting. Actually, the British used a lot of elephant logistics in this war. When Min Hla, do as the Burmese do. By the way, did I remember to mention how excellent the costume of the commanding officers is? Medieval hangover, this time, is justified because it's in the historical record. The Burmese commander has a lot of fight in him. He wants to make aggressive action, but there's this long, tedious passage where even a ghostly memory is telling him not to do it unless you're absolutely sure of winning. And this at a date when the Burmese army would be lucky to win a game of snap against a quadriplegic. Again, thank you for the realistic quality of the unravelling situation inside the earthworks. Wow, this looks good, apart from the bad uniforms I mentioned. But they have successfully persuaded him not to go ahead with it and to start a tactical withdrawal from this losing battle. Seriously, there's a whole British Navy out there. Someone face towards the danger. Yeah, there's that hut they love hitting so much. Must mention also that the accurate period Burmese music is a delight. I'll get real, the blast wasn't that strong. Many of the British troops we see here are Indians from the British Indian Army. My God, Britain was served well by the vast numbers of Indian soldiery she had. Anyway, here's that guy who's been told to fight a rearguard action, and he comes up against superior numbers of British cavalry. I love the pagodas in the background, that is so evocative of Burma, but just watch this combat. Are you for real? British soldiers holding their entire rifle outside the point of balance as a sword? Yep, still doing it. There's no way anyone would do that, trusting his life to that. That performance by this man was as good as it gets. Let's watch it again. Whoa. Let's watch that Britain's swordsmanship again, shall we? By the way, who do you think is going to win? As I have long said, the main difference between Europeans and Asians is that Europeans are capable of being entertained without flying kicks to the fucking head. Asia, would you please stop putting martial arts shit in your movies? It bears no resemblance to real life combat. Ha, big deal, he's got martial arts, he'll win if there's 100 of them shooting from 100 yards away. Are there really no surviving pistols in Burma that you have to make something up out of wood and crappy metal bands? Wow, just like real life. And that guy just like a mannequin. Yeah, horses do that, don't you know? No, folks, I don't know how they got the head off that horse then. Something happened, I'm not even going to rewind. You can do that when you've got martial arts, that's all. This was meant as a battle scene review, but I might just review the whole movie after that. Please let me know in the comments if you want me to do that. That's all from the Jaguar Knight. Thank you, good night.